Alright, Toyota Yaris. So this is my own little personal runabout. I've been having problems with this car. If I take a longer drive with it, it tends to overheat. Now if you see all these white marks over here, it looks like water splashes. It is actually water, but it's mixed with antifreeze, so it basically stains the inside. That gives you an idea. Now you see where the radiator is? The radiator is right here. Okay, so we've got to basically take the fan out of the way first before we can actually get the radiator itself out. And the radiator is also attached to the condenser of the air conditioner, so we must be very careful. Okay, I'm gonna jack this car up because you can't do everything from the top here. I'm gonna jack it up so that I can drain the water by taking off the bottom radiator hose, and then we'll see what else is required to actually take the radiator out. Okay, so here goes. Okay, so down at the bottom you can see how badly this thing was leaking water, with antifreeze. You can see it's all wet here, and I haven't opened anything yet. But okay, down here we do have a drain plug, so I'm gonna be opening this drain plug and just get something to catch the water under the drain plug. That's step one. All right, so we'll open up the drain plug over here, and we get you can see the water starting to drain out now. It would help if we go to the top and we basically take the cap off. Okay, it'll help the water drain a lot quicker. Alright, so let's go do that. Okay, with taking the cap off, we'll find that the water will now drain a lot quicker. So back at the bottom, we can open it up. Okay, and now we've just got you can see a nice solid flow of water coming out of the radiator there. Okay, so that's step one. Let's just drain her until all the water is drained out. Okay, while that water is still draining there, we can take the top radiator hose out of the way so long. Okay, we just basically use the squeeze clamps here. Okay, and just get that top radiator hose off in the meantime. It's got two clamps. Okay, so we'll just manipulate those clamps to get it off. Out of the way. Just manipulate it like that. Okay, that's what our radiator hose looks like. Alright, so I've just closed that drain plug there quickly, and I'm taking now the bottom radiator hose out of the way. Okay, so we'll just get the clamp out of the way, and we'll just simply pull the pipe off. You'll still get a little bit of water coming out of it. Okay, as you can see if we can get a little bit of light here. Okay, and we'll just take that hose and we'll put that hose out of the way. Okay, we'll just tuck her out of the way. She is flexible. Okay, so the next thing, we need to take the fan out of the way. So here's just two clips here which you pinch. I'll show it better to you when we get the radiator out. You pinch them together, and then you just lift it up slightly, and then you drop the fan down. Now I've run into a problem here where I cannot for the life of me loosen up this clip where the fan wire runs on. Okay, let's go to the bottom. I've been trying to unclip this little plug here, okay, that goes onto the fan, and no matter where I press it here, it doesn't want to come off, and it feels so plasticky. I don't want to break it. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to let this hang. I'm just going to let it hang out of the way like that, because we don't need to be at the bottom to take the radiator out. Okay, we're going to take the radiator out from the top. Okay guys, unfortunately you have to take this whole front skin of the bumper off. Okay, that's basically the bumper over there, which I had to take off. It's just basically held on by screws and things. It's quite simple. Okay, let me just take you closer to it quickly. You have screws in here, clips and screws, that hold it here. You have some that holds it, down at the bottom over there. Okay, so just, I mean, the whole idea is for me to show you how to replace the radiator, not the bumper. Okay, so once we have that skin off, okay, you look at the top here. Okay, you see here's 2 bolts here, okay, and then there's another 2 bolts over there. So that is basically like this strip that goes across over here. So that is bolted down onto your radiator, that holds your radiator in place there. Now remember that the radiator is also attached to the condenser of the aircon. So we got to be careful of that as well. So once we have that 4 bolts out, just watch. Here is another plug in here for the hooter. Okay, we'll just unplug the hooter there, and then we'll just move this out of the way. Can you see there that radiator is just standing? So you know, I'm not gonna loosen up the cabling for the bonnet catch and all that. I'm just gonna move that out of the way. So now you can see this radiator over here. Okay, so now we've got clips here that basically hold hold the condenser onto the radiator itself. Now you see these little rubber knobs here, they need to come off, okay? They need to come off, both of them, because we are going to be reusing that. That goes onto the new radiator. Okay, so those 2 little rubbers there, we pull them off, and make sure that when you pull the radiator out, that these rubbers at the bottom, okay, they must also come off and go onto the brand new radiator. They like squeeze clips. You just squeeze them together like that, and then the radiator clips out. You see that? Squeeze here, and the radiator should clip out. Okay, it should clip out that way. Clips out like that. Okay. You got to pull the condenser out first. Okay, and now the radiator. Pull the condenser up. Okay, because the condenser clips in here. You see that? There's the condenser's got like things that clip in over there like that. So you first pull the condenser up a little bit, and then you pull the radiator out. Now you see there's that rubbers that I was telling you about. Make sure to take those rubbers off, because that's got to go onto your new radiator. Okay, so that's basically our radiator out now. So now we're going to get our new radiator now. Okay, so we'll start by putting those, in actual fact, let's put the rubbers on the body itself. Okay, I'm going to stick the rubbers onto the body itself down there. Alright, and then we're going to take the radiator, and then we're going to put the radiator into those 2 grommets first. Alright, put the radiator into those grommets, secure them. Now we can take our condenser once again, and we'll make sure that our condenser goes into those little slots of our radiator. Okay, and once that goes into the slots like it should be, we can just clip it back. Okay. Clip it back. You can hear that positive clicking going on there. Okay, so now our condenser is perfectly, it's slid into the bottom of the radiator over there. Okay, so that's as simple as it is. Okay, we've got our radiator in nicely. So, our rubbers will basically come onto the top of the radiator like that. Okay, remember, put that rubbers in, because you don't want this thing to shake. It's plastic, it's going to break eventually. Okay, and then we've got to make sure that those holes go over those rubbers. Okay, and the rubbers go inside there to hold everything in position. And once that's achieved, we can put our little screws back. 4 screws there. That'll go back. Simple. It is simple. I just feel that it is such a lot of work, for something as simple as this, as putting in a radiator into a car. A radiator is a wear and tear item. It's going to pack up sometime or another. Why do they make it so difficult? For you to replace it. Anyway, that's the question I cannot answer for you. So there we are. Everything back. Okay? Radiator's back. Don't forget to plug back your little thingy there. Now I can just simply go, and I can go and put the fan unit back. Okay, because I didn't now break anything, I didn't clip off the wires or anything like that. Okay, because it's perfectly out of the way. we first put the fan back, okay, it clips in quite easily, slide in, okay. Those things there is for your front fan. You know, you have two things, it slides in there and then it clips in here, okay. Very simple, no bolts needed, okay. As I said, the next thing to do is to put back the fan, okay, the radiator fan, then the bottom radiator hose and the top radiator hose. And then we've got to put back the bumper, and then we've got to fill up the cooling system. There's no bleeding here, you just need to fill it up with antifreeze. Okay, so I'll get back to you once I've got all that done quickly. Right, so I've got everything back together. So now I'm just going to top up and fill up with antifreeze. I am using the Cool 12. Okay, it's concentrated. It is Ultra G12 Evo, okay, which I got from Master Parts. It's a nice thick antifreeze, which is undiluted, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill her up, okay, until I can't put any more in. And then if it hasn't taken the whole 2 liters, then I'll just top up with water, because 2 liters of this concentrate is over enough for this car. And then we'll just go ahead and top it up. So I've put in 2 liters already. So now I'll just go ahead and top it up with normal water. This cooling system does not actually need to be bled. It's basically self-bleeding. But what we will do is, when we do run the car, you mustn't forget to actually you know, put your you must actually put your heater, you know, on. You don't have to run the fan, but you just put it in the position where you would want it to demist, you know. So that looks like it's filled up now, overfilled. So it's time to start. Right, so once it's all filled up like that, we just go and start the car. As you know, this car doesn't start if you don't put your foot on the clutch. So let's go ahead and get it started. Okay, put the ignition on, start the car, she runs, and then we'll go here. We put it on the demister and we put it on hot, on the hottest setting. Okay, I'll just put the fan on, maybe 1. Okay, because in that way now we know that the heater is open, so the water, the coolant can circulate through the heater as well. Okay, so now I'll just let it run until the fan comes on, and once the fan comes on and the fan goes off again, and you know, the red light doesn't come on the dashboard, I know that it's not overheating. Let me just see if it's going to. Okay, we put the ignition on. You see that red light looks like a thermometer. Okay, it's gone off again. But when the car overheats, that shows, you know, because here is no temperature gauge here. So we just started. Okay, you can see that green one is on, because that means the car is cool. Okay, that'll go off after a while once the car reaches normal operating temperature. Then that light will go off. And you know, if the car overheats, the red light will go on. That's how I knew my car was overheating when I drove it. Okay, so we'll just give it some time and let it warm up nicely. Okay, while we're running it warm, you know, just do your inspections over here. Okay, make sure that there's no water leaking. Keep your eye on the car while it's warming up. Keep your eye on the temperature, well, you know, on the dashboard, and make sure that that red light doesn't come on. So let's go take a look. Now you can actually see that that green light is off, the green thermometer light, so that means the car is now starting to warm up. Okay. Alright, so there's the radiator. Now if you look down at the bottom over here, you know, you can see how the antifreeze was basically leaking out at the top tank as well. We flip it around, you know, we'll see over here, you know, this is the back part of the radiator. But it was definitely leaking, and you see how it would work. Let's say your car takes say 7 liters of water, okay, and that now keeps the car cool wherever you go and however long you drive. But let's say you have a leak, and now your leaks are very slow, okay, so it's only over long distances when you notice that your car was overheating. So once you've leaked out, say about 4 liters of water, now you've got 3 liters left. That 3 liters is not enough to cool your engine down, then your car overheats. Okay, so it can be a slow leak, it can take a couple of days or whatever, but when you find that you have to top up your water quite often, every second day or so, then you have a problem. There is probably a leak. Okay, so I had to replace this radiator, and I did buy this. I bought this make over here. It is called Thermocool. Okay, cooling components radiator. I got this from Master Parts. Okay, and it cost me in the region of about 1,500 rand. Okay, for the brand new radiator. And then of course the antifreeze, good quality antifreeze, about 150 rand a liter. Okay, so a radiator for a Toyota Yaris T3 manual. That was the procedure that I went through now. Okay, I'll see you with the next one. Cheers.